What did Linus even do to nuke Pop! OS? Linus. It was not Linus's fault in my eyes. It was Linus emulated what a new user would do, and what a new user would do for Linux is typically agree to everything they don't understand, which most people won't understand much. But the Pop! OS team introduced a bug in the apt update repository, and if you don't, as soon as you install the new Pop! OS at this time, when Linus did the challenge, the Linux challenge, he didn't update his system. So then when he went to go sudo apt install Steam, he ran into a bug in the apt package modified by the Pop! OS team. So instead, it purged all of Xorg, which Pop! OS ran on Xorg at the time. And when you purge your display renderer, it's hard to render any kind of graphics on your display. So what ended up happening, Linus got in there and was like, hey, I want to install Steam and play games because I heard about this Linux thing. I installed this distro that everyone says is good. He did that. And then he went apt install Steam. Enter. And then it said, hey, you're about to purge all of Xorg. Are you sure you want to do this? That's a pretty big deal. And then Linus is like, well, I guess so. Yeah, sure. I don't know what the hell Xorg is. Display renderer, I guess. But I just want Steam. Yeah, install Steam for me. Enter. And then it purged Xorg, broke his system, and then kicked him to TTY console. So that's what the story behind Linus is. The too long didn't watch of it all. It's obviously, yeah, he, as a new user, he didn't understand what Xorg was or display renderer. And the Pop! OS team did have a bug with apt that did get patched out, but Linus didn't update his apt before doing the apt install of Steam, which caused the bug to fire off and purge his entire display renderer and kick him to the TTY saying name, blinky cursor with nothing installed. So that's the story behind the Linus story. It's a great iteration of what some new users will run into, and frankly, a regular user that doesn't know that much about Linux would probably do something like that. So I don't blame Linus on it. He gets a lot of flack for it, but I do appreciate his time in Linux. It was fun. I liked roasting him. He took it all on the chin. Like, God, so many people roasted him. I think there's compilations of Linus's Tech Tips Linux Challenge. It was pretty funny. Let's see. Let's go to YouTube. What do we got? Linus Tech Tips Linux Challenge. Reaction. Yeah, so something like this guy did a supercut. You got Tech Hut, Mudahar, Gardner Bryant. You got me. You got Nick from KDE. I don't know him. Brody. And then Michael from Destination Linux, I think. So, yeah. Yeah. It's pretty funny. So there was a lot of cool... I loved that reaction. And a lot of my reactions, what I ended up doing was looking at what they did. And instead of just reacting to what they did, I said, here's how I actually do it. And based on the challenge you guys were given, here's how I would approach these tasks. So usually Linus did it a certain way, Luke did it a certain way, and then I took their tasks and I did it my way, just to kind of show, hey, this is what I considered the best way of doing these tasks and comparing it between all three. So it wasn't just me sitting there staring at their screen, just drooling on myself and going, Linus bad. Like some people did. I like to actually try and do something that would, help people learn, or when they do their challenges, have fun and learn something new. But anyways, I loved LTT's Linux challenge. It was fun. It was fun to sit there and go through. Yeah, Luke did pretty good with it. I think Luke stuck with like Linux Mint for months after the challenge wrapped. And I think he finally did go back to Windows, but yeah, it was fun. Pretty much every Linux creator jumped on the Reacts bandwagon on that. Everyone had their own take on it, which is cool. Hey, Rob, how's it going? Why didn't they have their Linux dude on that stream? They wanted to approach it as a new user would approach it. So that's the big, a lot of people gave him flack because obviously Linus could go in and do all of the things properly if he had some guidance there that would kind of nudge him in the right direction. But instead what he did is they wanted to go in blind and just say, hey, I'm a Windows user coming to Linux. Let's go. Let's just Google and do it all ourselves with zero outside influence. And that takes balls to do. And I really appreciate them doing that. And I think that was so cool to see how different people did things differently. Like how Luke approached it with Linux Mint, and how Linus, I think, started with Pop! OS, broke it with the Steam update, and then went to Manjaro, which was like, oh God, that's a recipe for disaster for a new user. But it was fun to see. It was definitely entertaining. And I loved their challenge. Looking back on it, I think I was a little too hard on them at sometimes. I think I had one on the secondary channel. I was just like, I cannot believe this. But looking back, I'm like, knowing that that's how they approached it now, it makes sense. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Manjaro's how I found Chris. I think probably I had a Manjaro disaster video. And then it happened. I think with distros like Bazzite, Linux desktop gaming is going to be much more bulletproof. Hopefully some games like Fortnite won't work, but still. Heck, even Debian is great now. Yeah, though I agree with you 100% there. I think Bazzite is amazing. It's actually my #1 recommendation for new Linux users coming for gaming. If you're a gamer, you're on Windows, and you want to try your very first Linux distribution, Bazzite is the best, in my opinion, for you to go to, because it's really hard to break, and almost everything works right out of the box. No bullshit. It actually is like that. It's amazing. So I absolutely love it. And it does pretty good. Loved Pop for over 2 years until it did me wrong. Yeah. I run into the same thing, Rob, where I used to like a lot of derivatives of the big dogs, Arch and Debian. And usually when I pop out of those, they usually screw me over in some way. Although Arch has screwed me over several times in the past as well. It's just lately, what day am I on now? Let's see. I'm on day 138 of this Arch install. And I think I told Chad I was going to go 365 days in Arch, see if it could be done. We'll see. We'll see if that's the case.